What's up, guys? It's Eric from Rare Candy, and today we're back with the second round of the recent league challenge I attended. Fates Collide was legal for this tournament, so I thought it'd be cool to, record some games and maybe see what, players were doing with the new cards now that they're released and, ready for tournament play. So on the left, we have, I believe, Austin Cannon playing Trevenant BREAK, and then we have John Oglesby on the right playing Aquabox. So this should be kind of an interesting matchup here. Trevenant in general is just, I think, a very strong deck, but Aquabox has Rough Seas, and depending on the counts of the stadiums and each player's decks, I think that might be a big factor in determining how this goes. So it's hard to say, but I feel like if Aquabox can win the Stadium War, I think it's maybe the preferred or more favored deck here. It's hard to say. But here we're seeing a mulligan from both players, actually. I think John had 3 max elixirs in hand or something like that. He's getting like some freaking Pokemon TCGO hands over there. That's like the type of hands I always get on the online game. But it's kind of odd for Aquabox to mulligan. Trevenant, it's kind of common. You only play, total maybe 6 to 8. No, you play more than that. You probably play about 8 basics in Trevenant, so mulligans do happen. But Aquabox plays a decent amount of basics since it's pretty much an all basic deck. There's no really like any evolutions or anything. Okay, here we see another mulligan from Austin. But it looks like John did get a basic. I should have been paying a better attention. I don't remember what he had. But we do see Regice in his hand, so it's a good thing he didn't have to start with that because that's a totally dead card in this matchup. And it also has a huge retreat cost. But you do play Manaphy, so luckily you don't have to worry about Trevenant, Lysandering, a big Pokemon like Regice and spreading around it. Unless you can't draw into your Manaphies, of course. Okay, and I guess we're just waiting for the match to start. John does still need to draw his mulligan, though. There he goes. Austin does have a Wobbuffet start. And, okay, he got an Ultra Ball off his trainer's mail, but his problem is that he doesn't have a supporter. And yeah, you can Ultra Ball and get out a Shaman here, but it doesn't do anything for you because of Wobbuffet's ability. And that's kind of the downside to Wobbuffet in the Trevenant deck. You can only play 4 Phantoms, so sometimes you are going to be starting with a Wobbuffet or a Shaman or, something less preferred. And this is one of those instances, definitely. Okay. Ooh, and he actually does bench the Shaman, but it looks like John's reminding him of the Bide Barricade ability. Okay, and it looks like John was nice enough to let him take it back too. But in hindsight, he probably should have just grabbed a Phantom since he had the Mystery Energy in hand. That way he could retreat next turn and use Ascension to get out his Trevenant and start item locking his opponent. Okay, and it looks like John did find a Hex there. So that's a good card. Definitely important in this matchup. So it's good that it wasn't prized or something like that. Okay, he does have Toad in hand, it looks like, or off the trainer's mail there. But there's a Parallel City. Can't tell what else. Okay, so he's just going to opt to fail it, which is fine. Okay, we see an attachment to Articuno and just a Sycamore. Alrighty. It is a bit of a shame he did have to discard that Hex just in case a Phantom does hit the board and Austin starts evolving. So maybe at the very least he can Versus Seeker it back to have in hand because that's definitely a card you want access to. You pretty much know at some point you're going to need that card. And luckily, Wobbuffet's ability, for those who don't know, it shuts off non-psychic Pokemon's abilities. So this is really nice, though, for John because that means his Hoopa still works. So whenever you bench Hoopa, you get to use the Scoundrel Ring ability and search for up to 3 other EXs. Okay, and use this Max Elixir. Okay, and I'm guessing we're probably just going to see a Chilling Sigh. Okay, he is going to versus Secret Force Sycamore. So it's unfortunate he isn't able to get back the Hex, but he probably doesn't have a draw supporter for next turn otherwise. So that seems fine, especially since there is no Phantom on the board. And, John kind of knows that Austin's hand is a little dead at this point. But luckily, he does top deck a Sycamore, which is huge. Okay, here he's just going to Sycamore, and he really needs to get another basic down. Otherwise, John can kind of threaten a Grenade Hammer knockout otherwise. But, okay, he did draw into a Phantom at the very least. Oh, that's interesting. He actually has an Absol in his hand. So, that's actually kind of a cool card. Uh, for those that don't know, Absol has an ability that lets you move damage counters around on your opponent's field. I believe it's you move 3, or it might be 2, I forget. But you can move some damage counters from one of your opponent's Pokemon to another. So it definitely has synergy with Trevenant's attacks. And luckily he was able to evolve, and he can start item locking John. And again, it is unfortunate he isn't able to Hex here. But to be fair, like we said, he didn't really have a draw supporter otherwise, and that is probably more important. Okay, and we do see Glaceon hit the board. That could be an interesting card in this matchup as well. Okay, so here we're probably just going to see a Quaking Punch. And I'm really curious why Austin didn't put down the Bursting Balloon to his Phantom on the previous turn. Because now, otherwise, his Seismitoad, or John's Seismitoad, would have taken 6 damage counters. And it was kind of easy to see the Seismitoad only needed 1 more energy, and he knew that John versus Secret Force Sycamore, so he kind of knew an attack was going to be coming. So I definitely think that was a big misplay there. But it's still early in the game, though, so no one's even taking any prizes, so he might be able to come back from this still. Okay, so he's attaching an energy there, and we're just going to see the first Silent Fear come down. So he's really banking on John not having Dimension Valley, or not Dimension Valley, but Rough Seas. That would really mess him up here. Yeah, if he could Grenade Hammer and put down Rough Seas, that'd be huge. But here we're going to see a Grenade Hammer just to knock out the Trevenant and put 3 damage counters on the Articuno, which seems fine to me. Oh, wait. Looks like he put another 3 on Hoopa as well. Did I miss something? I don't know what happened there, but all right. So, luckily, this does open up Austin to use his item cards again, since the Seismitoad did have to use Grenade Hammer. So, Battle Compressor, probably just getting rid of some supporters you don't need anymore. Wally and Lysander and AZ all seem like fine choices. He does have a red card in hand. That could be really nice too. I'm not sure how many cards John has in hand, but I think it's more than 4. But it looks like he is opting just to discard it, get Shaman. Seems fine. I know you need to draw into more cards, so. Here, he really, really needs to get down a Bursting Balloon. That's going to be a really important card. See, and here, if he had put down that Burst Balloon earlier, Wobbuffet would have actually been able to take a knockout here. So that play is kind of coming back to bite him in the butt there. Okay, see a Trainer's Mail versus Seeker. Okay, he is able to get that, which is nice. He can grab a supporter. I don't think he's played one yet. All he did was play the Shaman, so he can grab maybe a Sycamore or like a Wally or even AZ if he wants to reuse Shaman instead. Okay, versus Seeker. And it looks like he's grabbing a Wally maybe for next turn. And okay, I'm kind of confused by this play here because he isn't able to actually attack with Trevenant this turn. I don't believe. I think he actually just attached this energy this turn. So you're better off just using Phantom's attack and saving the Wally to evolve into the break for next turn. So I do think that was a little bit of a misplay there, especially since that now Grenade Hammer. Well, Grenade Hammer can knock out your Trevenant either way, so maybe it's not a huge deal. Oh, and we do see the Rough Seas come down, and the Zorozic on the Burst Balloon, so that's huge there. Okay, and it looks like he is putting 30 down onto the Glaceon. Alrighty. Oh, and it looks like Austin just attached and passed. Ugh. It is definitely... Things are definitely not going his way right now, unfortunately. So he's going to pick up the Hoopa. That's really good to get that off the board since it is weak to Psychic. That could potentially be an easy target. Okay, here we're just going to see an Ultra Ball. Maybe get down another Seismitoad and start powering that up. I feel like that's probably best. Oh, Regice. That's really interesting. Oh, he's probably just going to Sycamore, if that's the case. Okay. Well, whatever the case, he did get the Regice out of the deck, so he won't have to draw into that anymore. And here you got to ask, what can you do if you're in an Austin situation? Because even if you get another Trevenant on the board, he can just keep using Grenade Hammer and just keep healing off the damage he's doing. So you really, he really needs to get down a Burst Balloon onto whoever is in his active spot. That's what he really needs here more than anything. So let's see. I'm not sure what's in his hand. I couldn't see. But he does need a supporter still. Or at the very least an energy to attach to Phantom to use Ascension. Or a Dimension Valley. So let's see what he ends up doing here. Looks like there might be a dispute over something. Okay, so he's just going to retreat and use Ascension to go into the Trevenant. And even though that is a bit of an inconvenience, he can just yet again Grenade Hammer and just keep healing his board. And unfortunately, yeah, Austin just didn't have anything else to work with there. So I think not putting down that Burst Balloon on, what was it, the second turn of the game or first turn he had, I think that really did come back to bite him because I believe he would have been able to, because I remember the Seismitoad got 30 damage on it at some point, but if the Burst Balloon would have been on there, Wobbuffet could have come in and cleaned out that Seismitoad. And really that Seismitoad took the entire game just by itself. So things may have gone a little bit differently had that Toad actually had gotten knocked out there. So it's hard to say what would happen then. But so we see John going 2-0 as of right now in the tournament. So we do have 2 more rounds, so be on the lookout for them. And if you hadn't seen the first round, I'll put a link to that as well if you guys want to check that out too. But yeah, guys, that is it. Feel free to like and subscribe, and don't forget to check out our merch at rarecandytcg.com, and we'll see you guys for the next 2 rounds, okay?